I've been writing and talking about mushrooms for decades, and here are a few weird things that people don't know about mushrooms. First of all, we are part mushrooms. Us humans are part mushrooms in a couple different ways. First of all, we share up to 50% of our DNA with mushrooms, but maybe more importantly, mushrooms or fungi, the kingdom, lives inside us in our gut and in our skin all the time. So every human being carries a boatload of different kinds of mushrooms. By the way, in this video, I use the word mushroom and fungi irreplaceably. Technically, they are a different thing. Fungi is the kingdom, mushroom is the reproductive organ of fungi, but I digress. When you hear me say mushroom, I mean fungi, and fungi means mushroom. Another thing people don't understand about mushrooms is that the world's largest and oldest living organism is actually a mushroom. And it's a mushroom living in Oregon. Very hipster of them. This mushroom, this particular honey mushroom that lives in the Blue Mountains of Oregon, is like 4 square miles large. It's large, it's kind of weird to say. It's not like upwards. It lives underground and then trees grow over it, but it's actually one organism. And in the organism, we don't know how old it is, but people estimate to be like around 2,400 year old. So definitely older than the oldest tree alive today. So what would this mean? This would mean like over 1,600 football fields. That's a pretty big mushroom. Another weird thing about mushrooms is that they can actually survive in space. When I was a kid, I was taught nothing can survive in space, but actually mushrooms can survive in space. They can survive in a lot of weird places. They're extremophiles. They can survive in a nuclear reactor in Antarctica. They can survive in an active volcano. Fungi have been found many times in different areas of space, including the International Space Station and Mir. Actually, some people say mushrooms are aliens. They can travel interstellar. And if you do think mushrooms are aliens, or you're interested in aliens, you should check out this video I made with Jesse Michaels of American Alchemy around the theory that mushrooms are actually aliens. A weird, crazy thing people don't know about mushrooms is that they can actually eat plastic and many other toxins that us humans have produced, including the worst chemical warfare weapons like VX and Soma. So basically, humans take things from nature and they put it together in this novel, unique, modern way, and the end result is something that nature doesn't recognize. It's foreign to nature. It becomes a toxin, a waste item, like plastic. But then here comes mushies and they just eat it, and it becomes, again, a form that nature recognizes it can use for other building blocks. That's pretty cool. Another crazy mushroom fact is that many of our best-selling drugs are made using fungi. Penicillin is the one that people always like to mention, but roughly half of the best-selling drugs in the world have some sort of fungi in them, many of like immunosuppressants, for example. And that's kind of makes sense. Basically, all drugs are derived from nature and then combined in novel ways where somebody can then patent and own them. Nobody can own nature, but if you take items from nature and combine them in new ways that doesn't exist in nature, then you can patent it for a drug. Many of those come from fungi. And why mushrooms can be great drugs is that because of that DNA similarity, we're very perceptible to fungal medicine. We're also very prone to fungal diseases, which kind of takes us to the next weird mushroom fact, is that mushrooms or fungi come in many forms. There's slime molds and yeasts as well. They are part of the fungal kingdom. So it's not just the toadstool mushrooms when we talk about fungi, but they come in many different forms, like the ones in our gut and our skin, but also the yeast that make beer and bread. So when you're drinking beer and eating bread, you're technically kind of consuming fungi. That's fun. And this is, by the way, true also for slightly healthier items, from like kombucha to any kind of a fermented item like a sauerkraut or kimchi. My weird belief is that in my lifetime, we'll find a new biological kingdom, and it's somewhere in this mergel between bacteria and fungi that we can't name today, and it will be shown as a totally different biological kingdom. A weird thing people don't know about mushrooms is that they breathe oxygen and expel CO2, just like us humans. Again, we share a lot of our DNA with mushrooms. Plants are the opposite. So plants can also create their energy or their own energy using photosynthesis. Mushrooms or fungi have to get external food, just like we. And what's weird about mushrooms or fungi is that they don't digest food per se. Instead, they externally dissimulate it and then ingest those nutrients. So if you eat a pizza, eat it, goes into your body, digest it, poop it out, and you'd extract the nutrients that way. In a way, the mushroom lives inside a pizza, then spits into the walls these discrete enzymes that have chemical mix, and they start breaking down the pizza into compounds that then the fungi can use for energy. Kind of gross and weird, but that's how nature sometimes is. That's it. Mushrooms or fungi are super weird and unique and interesting, and I feel like I get bored of a lot of stuff very quickly, but with mushrooms, I've been studying them for like 20 years and I still keep learning new things all the time, and they're just super fascinating and interesting. What's your favorite mushroom fact? You can comment below, and if you enjoy this content, you can subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.